welcome to the deep dive.
Good to be here.
So today, we're jumping into Ashenfall. It's that brand new continent in RuneScape.
That's the one. A whole new world to figure out.
Yeah, exactly. And we're sort of aiming this as the quick start, less manual, more insider track.
Getting your bearings.
Right. How to find food, shelter, maybe avoid becoming someone else's dinner straight away.
Always a good goal. And it's interesting because while it's new, some basics are there, but with twists. Things you think you know from RuneScape might not quite work the same, especially like food.
Okay, yeah, let's dig into that. The food thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It really is. The whole crafting thing.
You'd assume mixing ingredients, making soup, whatever would be better, right? More
Yeah,
filling?
that's the standard logic, yeah. But take vegetable soup early on. You use potatoes, cabbages.
Right.
But eating the soup might actually give you less sustenance than if you just ate the potatoes and cabbages separately.
No way. Really?
Yeah, seems that way from early reports. It kind of flips the usual crafting benefit on its head, at least for pure hunger.
Huh. So early game, maybe just stick to the raw ingredients for filling up, efficiency-wise.
It seems like it could be, yeah. Maximize that immediate energy gain. The crafting doesn't always add nutritional value, apparently.
Makes you really think about why you're crafting something.
Exactly. But then it's not just about hunger, is it?
Ah, right. There's more to it.
Yeah, some foods give you, like, status effects, temporary buffs.
Okay, like what?
Well, those buttermuck mushrooms, find them in swampy areas. If you grill them, the grilled mushrooms give you poison resistance for a bit.
Oh, nice.
Ugh.
So even if the soup isn't great for hunger, maybe other crafted foods have these kinds of benefits.
Precisely. So that grilled mushroom might not fill you up loads, but avoiding poison, that could be a lifesaver.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about weighing the trade-offs, sustenance versus special effects.
You got it. It really encourages you to experiment, learn what each thing does beyond just filling the hunger bar.
Okay, makes sense. So let's talk about getting the stuff you need. Resources.
Right. Gathering.
Ashenfall seems to have some surprisingly clever ways to gather things, not just whack-a-mole with your tools.
Definitely. Take rune essence, for example. Those nodes you find,
Yeah.
instead of just mining them, try shooting them down first. With like a bow or even cheap spells.
Shooting them.
Yeah. Apparently you get more essence per node that way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you don't need to waste good arrows or anything?
Nope. Cheap stuff works fine. It's a neat little trick. Rewards thinking outside the box a bit.
I like that. Okay, so you shoot it down. Then what?
Then, to gather the fallen essence quickly, the rock explosion spell seems to be the go-to. Clears it up fast.
Ah, using magic for gathering. Nice.
And it doesn't stop there. Another spell, astral projection,
What's that do?
lets you knock down multiple trees at once.
Whoa.
Yeah. And apparently they often fall in a way that they overlap on the ground. And then you can use the splinter spell to gather all the logs from the overlapping trees in one go.
That sounds incredibly efficient. Like, boom, instant woodpile.
Right. It really integrates magic into those basic survival loops. It's not just about hitting things.
Cool. Any other quick resource tips?
Well, if you need ashwood logs fast, look for thorny vines.
Porty vines give ashwood.
Yeah, harvesting them is apparently a really quick way to stock up on specifically ashwood, another one of those environmental shortcuts.
Good to know. Always pays to poke around, I guess.
Definitely. And for finding ores and clay, there's a spell. Detect ore and clay.
Okay, sounds straightforward.
It is, but the cool part is it works through walls.
It does.
It gives you visual cues, like colored orbs or beams of light showing you exactly where the deposit is, even if it's underground or behind a rock face.
That's amazing. Takes all the guesswork out of finding nodes in a new area.
Yeah, it's super helpful for prospecting efficiently, instead of just wandering randomly.
Brilliant. Anything else on mining?
Just one small thing, make sure you fully deplete a node. Sometimes it looks empty, but there might be a tiny bit left.
Ah, the classic last swing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every little bit helps, especially when you're starting out. Don't leave resources on the table or in the rock.
Got it. Okay, so managing hunger, getting resources. Next up is shelter, building a base.
Right, and location seems really important here.
Yeah. What's the advice?
The general consensus early on is build in a tier 1 area. Like Temple Woods is one example.
Okay, why tier 1 specifically?
Dragons and raids.
Ah, less of those in tier 1.
But apparently, yeah. Tier 2 zones like Bramble Valley have more frequent and dangerous attacks. You don't want your first little hut getting torched by a dragon.
Definitely not. So start safe, maybe expand later. Makes sense.
It's that risk-reward thing. Better resources, maybe in higher tiers, but much higher risk, especially early.
Okay. And inside the base, any tips? I heard something about sawmills.
Oh yeah, this is neat. If you build a lumber storage unit right next to your sawmill,
Hmm.
it automatically collects the planks as the sawmill makes them.
Oh, that's handy. So they don't just spill out onto the floor.
Exactly. Keeps things tidy, ensures you don't lose any planks, streamlines the whole process.
Nice. Any word if that'll happen for other stuff? Like ores from a furnace?
There's some speculation it might be expanded, yeah. Would be a great quality of life thing if they did.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, so base is up, relatively safe. Time to explore.
The fun part. But be careful where you wander.
How so?
Gear level. You need to make sure your gear level is at least equal to the power level of the area you're going into.
Okay, how do you check that?
Your gear level is in your inventory screen, and the map usually shows the area's power level.
And what happens if you go in underleveled?
You're going to have a bad time. Apparently it gets really tough, really fast. The game's telling you you're not ready for this yet.
Right, okay. Heed the warnings. Good advice. How about getting around this big new place? Fast travel.
Yep, they have lodestones, like the ones in RuneScape.
Ah, familiar system.
Mostly. But you need to activate them first. They require specific materials.
So you can't just use them right away. Got to find the stuff to power them up.
Exactly. So keep an eye out for those materials. They'll become pretty essential for getting around quickly later on.
Makes sense. Adds a bit of progression to the fast travel. And while exploring map markers.
Oh, absolutely. Use them. Mark down where you find good resource spots, interesting locations, anything useful.
So you can find your way back easily.
Yeah. Saves a ton of time later when you need, say, more of that specific ore or plant you found hours ago. Build your own little knowledge base on the map.
Smart. Like a personal treasure map.
Pretty much.
And should you just stick to the main quest, or?
Definitely wander off the path. Ashenfall's supposed to be full of side quests, points of interest.
Oh, yeah.
And some things might even change or only be available at certain times of day.
Ooh, time of day mechanics. Interesting.
Yeah, so it encourages exploration, poking around, not just following the main story marker. You might find some cool hidden stuff.
Good tip. Always good to explore. Any movement tricks?
Don't forget about Windstep.
Windstep. What's that again?
It's that ability that lets you leap up high and then sort of glide down slowly.
Ah, right. For reaching ledges and stuff.
Exactly. And for getting down without taking fall damage. It seems easy to overlook early on, but sounds like it becomes really important for navigation later.
Yeah, I can see that being super useful for tricky spots. Okay, let's wrap up with some general tips, character knowledge, that sort of thing.
Sure. Well, first off, if you're using magic, and it seems pretty central,
Yeah.
you're going to need a lot of runes, especially at higher levels, those gathering tricks we talked about.
Right.
They'll stay important.
Right. Keep that rune supply steady.
Definitely. Also, grab a fishing rod early.
Fishing for food.
Yeah. It's a reliable, pretty safe way to get food without having to constantly hunt or forage in dangerous spots. Nice and steady.
Good basic survival tip. Always useful. Anything else gear-wise?
This is a bit specific, but apparently some leggings, trousers, offer fall damage reduction.
Really? Just regular leggings.
Certain types, yeah. You might get some from early quests, or there's maybe a vendor in a tier 2 area who sells them.
Huh. Worth keeping an eye out for if you're clumsy like me.
Could save you some pain.
Okay, and what about learning about the world itself? Enemies, resources.
The in-game journal is your best friend here, specifically the World tab.
What's in there?
Loads of info. Factions, creatures, plants, resources, what's what and where to find it.
Okay.
And crucially, under the factions part, it tells you creature weaknesses and resistances.
Oh, that's huge. Like what?
For example, goblins are weak to air magic, but resistant to ranged attacks.
Gotcha.
And guru berserkers, weak to fire. Knowing that stuff makes combat way easier.
Yeah, no kidding. Exploiting weaknesses is key. So check the journal often.
Absolutely. Use the information the game gives you. It rewards you for doing your homework.
Makes sense. One last thing for the mages.
Right. If you're using a staff, remember you can cycle through the different rune types you have equipped.
Oh, yeah.
There's a way to switch between them. And you can even assign specific runes to hotkeys.
Oh, nice. So you can quickly switch to, like, air for goblins, then fire for berserkers.
Exactly. It makes you much more adaptable in a fight. Lets you target those weaknesses on the fly.
Very tactical.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so to kind of wrap up our first look at Ashenfall.
Yeah, the key takeaways seem to be
Smart resource management, right?
Yeah,
Understanding food isn't always simple, using those efficient gathering tricks.
definitely. And strategic base building, start safe in Tier 1.
Explore thoroughly, use your map markers, don't forget abilities like wind step.
And really leverage that in-game journal, especially for creature weaknesses. Use knowledge as a weapon.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
It's a mix of survival smarts and RuneScape know-how, but adapted for this new place.
Yeah, it feels like success comes from being observant, flexible, and willing to experiment with Ashenfall's unique systems.
So, final thought for everyone listening. As you get deeper into Ashenfall, how do you think these early survival skills will need to change?
Yeah, what other challenges or survival aspects become critical once you move beyond these initial steps?
Something to think about as you start your own adventure on Ashenfall.